They're taking a look at it. They're taking their time. And I think that anytime you hear about a second or a third opinion on, that's usually not good news. That's not usually not, it's clean and don't worry about it.
Bryan, how is everything going there? We'll get into the news, but like when you're around a scene like this and there's at least injury scares, even if it doesn't turn out to be anything crazy, do you feel it when you're walking around in the clubhouse?
I mean, it feels normal. I mean, Krause can attest to this. It seems like every year there's just a bunch of Yankees getting hurt. And I think that the difference here is that these are really significant names that we're talking about with Gerrit Cole and Aaron Judge, both going for MRIs the other day. So, I think you feel the tension in the room. People kind of tighten up a little bit and are walking around. And I think there was some relief with Judge knowing that he came back clean. And if he takes a week off, that's fine. He's still got time to be ready for opening day. But there is definitely a cloud hanging over here around until we find out exactly what is going on with Gerrit Cole and what the prognosis is going to be. I think everybody's waiting to exhale on that one.
Have you ever done like numbers research into the fact that do the Yankees really have more injuries, or is it something? Is it a narrative like a narrative that was written in New York that Gary Sanchez wasn't a good defensive catcher, which I have tried to dispute for a long time. Sometimes narratives in New York don't end. So is there numbers saying that the Yankees have had more time on the injured list, or is it just they have so many superstars and so much expectation that when somebody goes down, it's reported about so much?
Yeah, I think that there's part of that is true, that the media spotlight is a little brighter in New York and maybe we do pay more attention to it. But that definitely, there has been statistical studies that show that the Yankees do have more injuries than the average major league team. And so that's a big reason of why they've tried to overhaul their strength and conditioning. They brought in Gerrit Cole a few years ago, but it's baseball. It's a game of attrition. And so they are still dealing with injuries all the time. It's how do you bounce back from that?
Is it something that they pick up, older players? Is it something that, because Gerrit Cole, we had him on the show here a couple of weeks ago, he's the best in the game. Guys say, hey, you know what? I'm giving my career over to you. Show me. And now the Yankees have this guy, and yet there hasn't been any curtailing, and maybe it's gotten a little worse.
Yeah, I think a part of that is just having a veteran roster, and you're going to deal with the kind of bumps and bruises of that. And I certainly think that the Yankees have done the best they can to try and stop this. But there are injuries happening all around the league. You go look at the injury report and the scroll at the bottom of the MLB Network and all that. I mean, there's some pretty significant injuries happening all over the place. So I don't think it's just a Yankee thing.
Okay, so let's lock in on each individual here. First off with Cole. Just give us everything that you know up to the minute. And I know, reporters like to say, I'm not going to play doctor, but if you were for a moment, just based on, what it sounds like, what are we thinking? It does sound like whatever it is, it's going to prevent him at least from opening day at this point, right?
Right. I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. That's what you're
trying to tell me?
Okay. Well, what we do know is, look, he's had multiple opinions on this. So they're taking a look at it. They're taking their time. And I think that anytime you hear about a second or a third opinion on, that's usually not good news. That's not usually not, it's clean and don't worry about it. So I think that they're going to take their time. They're going to make sure they get this right. But I would expect, it seems, yes, he's out for opening day. And I would think that if you can get Gerrit Cole back and he's missed just a month, they should be very happy about that. I think they would be thrilled at this point if it winds up just being the month of April. So like I said, there is a cloud hanging here and they're waiting for that to clear and kind of figure out exactly what they're dealing with here.
If the Yankees had the option, they get to tell Bryan Hoch, one of these two guys has to miss 2 months of the year. Who is the bigger loss missing from this Yankees team? Aaron Judge or Gerrit Cole?
I think Cole is the most indispensable. He's a reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's your horse. He's he's the best pitcher in the game every fifth day. He's reliable. He's durable. Yeah, I think that they can survive. You brought in Juan Soto. It's not ideal if you were going to get rid of Judge and have him miss a significant amount of time, but I don't know if this team can win the World Series without Gerrit Cole. And so that's how crucial and important he is to his pitching staff, especially with a lot of the questions you have with the other guys, with Carlos Rodon, with Marcus Stroman, with Nestor Cortez, all of whom had injury issues last year. Clark Schmidt's coming off a career high in innings pitched, and then you're going to be calling on your depth. But the one thing that they could definitely guarantee that they were banking on is that you're going to have Gerrit Cole out there for 32 starts, and it looks like you're not going to have that this year.
Okay, so let's get to Judge on what you think is going on there, the updates. And some of our fans have asked about the layer of information with an injury or whatever you call it situation like he's dealing with, because he leaves that game early. They were like, nah, that was planned. You know, like the whole timeline of events. Is that legit and things are just popping up in real time? Or they're like, let's not tell everyone too much yet because we don't want to freak everyone out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that seemed a little suspicious to me that every regular got more than 2 at-bats. And so we did ask the questions after that day, and they had that story that they wanted to get Trent Grisham in there and wanted to get Grisham some more playing time. And so you kind of say, okay, we'll see. You tuck that away, and then it turns out the next day, Judge is going for an MRI. And it's like, all right, well, clearly it was not all about just making sure Trent Grisham gets some playing time. And Judge even acknowledged that he's been dealing with this for about a week and he's trying to be smart and stay out ahead of it. And okay, I wish that in a situation like that, they would just say that. They'd just say, yeah, Judge is, dealing with a little something. We think it's minor, but we just want to get him out of the game, rather than come up with this story that, it drags Trent Grisham into it and tells us that it was really important that Trent Grisham got an extra at bat that day.
And your concern level with Judge?
Lower than with Cole. I think the fact that I saw him out playing catch yesterday, that's a good sign. Obviously, he's not swinging a bat this week. They actually had talked about him potentially getting in today's game against the Red Sox. And I think that if it was a regular season, he would be out there. He said that. So I'm less concerned about that. I think that he's right in that better to miss some time here during spring training rather than in April or May, where it really counts.
Are they telling you got to go soon? Are you getting booted for the Michael K show?
Maybe I'm going to be a special guest. Who knows?
Yes.
Michael is a friend of the show as well. Everyone is.
Yeah.
We love our baseball community. Okay, so I'll just get a couple more in with you real quick here, Bryan. Many fans asking about potential reinforcements as usual. There are. Did I say their names yet on the show today? I've tried to go one show without saying their names. There are 2 very big starting pitcher free agents still available. Let's shift it to this way too. Is there still a chance that the Yankees have a Dylan Cease conversation? Because I usually think that those talks are publicized. Like, hey, this could happen soon. Rangers have a good offer, to try and tell the world that, last chance for the Yanks to give up Spencer Jones, which I don't think they'll do. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, everything I'm hearing is the Yankees are not going to give up Spencer Jones. So if that's what it's going to take to get Dylan Cease, he'll be pitching somewhere else. I think that, I would never rule it out, though. Of course, Brian Cashman is trying to figure out where they can upgrade this rotation. I think that was true even before the Gerrit Cole injury. And so, if Cash was sitting here right now, he'd tell you it's not pencils down until the trade deadline. So I think that those kind of things don't necessarily have to happen before opening day. Of course, you would want them to. But yeah, and my latest on that that I've heard is that may be a little overblown, the talks between the Yankees and White Sox and Dylan Cease. But clearly the Yankees need pitching help. And of course, if Cease is out there on the move, they should be one of the teams that's involved in that.
You brought up Cashman. Grade his offseason so far.
Well, when you trade for Juan Soto, that's pretty good, right? Start with that. I mean, Soto's probably going to have an MVP type year here. So I think that's good. I would have liked to have seen them do more on the pitching side. I think that obviously, and you're seeing it here, even before Cole got injured, I think there were a lot of question marks in that rotation. And, obviously Yamamoto was their plan A and they didn't get that. And then they didn't wind up, they tried for Blake Snell. That was plan B. They didn't get that. And then they brought down Marcus Stroman, plan C. So I don't know. I guess I think Soto's going to be so good and so perfect for this team in so many ways that I have a hard time giving him worse than a B. But there was more room. There was more to be done, and they didn't quite get there.
So then you have to give ownership a grade also, because it sounds like maybe the financials didn't quite line up.
I'm going to reserve on that until I see what kind of check they're going to write for Juan Soto, because I think that's going to be the big question here. Is that number going to be a 5, a 6, or even a 7 on the front of it? It's going to be a big check, and I don't think that you can bring Soto in here and have it just be 1 year and then watch him go somewhere else. I think that would be such a gut punch for this fan base that is already falling in love with this guy. They need to make sure that Juan Soto gets locked up for a really long time.
Even if he stays in New York, that would be more of a gut punch.
Oh, gosh.
Steve Cohen's got a little money, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That might be the name of your next book. 5,
Gut punch?
a 6, or a 7.
Well, yeah, that's right. We got 2 authors here, Kratzy. Yeah, so we can have some book chat if you want to.
Yeah, I only have 1 book. You put out 1 book a year.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting to see what the next topic's going to be. So if you got any ideas, you let me know.
2024 World Series champions.
They hope so. And
if
by the way,
if it happens, I'd be thrilled to write the book.
Exactly.
Great.
62.
I'll put the foreword in there.
Okay, sweet.
62 is available now. Get it wherever you get your books. Last one from me on the rotation. Who's shining? Who's questionable? Like, what have you seen, observed? I know, it goes beyond results in spring training, but
sure,
the X factor many talked about is Rodon. And I don't, it's not like we're seeing him and we're just like, oh my gosh, here it is. Last year he was kind of broken and he's fixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like I have no idea what we're going to get.
I don't either. And today is a big start. Rodon's going to be out here. And obviously now with the Cole news, he becomes so much more important to this rotation. His bounce back is he came in great shape, and he looked pretty good in the live batting practices. And then when he's gotten in games, it hasn't been as good. And so today is actually a big start. As much as you can have a big start on March 13 in spring training, he just needs one for his confidence. He gave up some hard hit balls, and just his last time out said, it happened in a game that nobody gives a bleep about. But I think right now, Yankee fans are on edge as far as their rotation goes. They need to see Carlos Rodon go out there and pitch well. One thing I would say is that Marcus Stroman has looked really good. He had a shaky one early and then has seemed to lock it in. He made some mechanical adjustments, and I think he's going to have a pretty good year here. I think that he might be a sleeper pick to have a sneaky good year. And as it stands right now, I think he'd be my choice to be the Yankees opening day starter.
Well, take us under the hood with this Rodon start a little bit. Like, what are the Yankees looking to see from this start, other than obviously zeros? But is there velo? Sure. Is there weak contact? Is there a sense that this guy's going to be the bulldog that they need him to be if Cole's out?
All of the above, everything you just said right there. His velocity was a little bit down. He might have been going through a little dead arm phase. And if that's all it was, that happens during spring training. And that's usually a hump that guys get over. So I think that, you want to see some swing and miss. You want to see him be aggressive there. Keep working in on the off-speed stuff. Get away from the predictable fastball slider. So those are all things I'm going to be watching here. I'm going to see his pitch mix. And certainly I think the batters tell you where you're at this point of the spring. And so if he's getting swings and misses and the velocity is where it should be, then that's a really good sign. So we'll see.
Now let's finish with this. The tweet of the day. What is Juan Soto pointing at? Wrong answers only, please. I said Snellzilla in the water. You like that?
Uh-huh.
That was really good. Snellzilla. My career.
Your career.
Your career was in Little Lake Steinbrenner back there?
Yep.
Oh, look at this. Nice.
Oh, wow. We got a bunch of them.
My love life dead in the water. The tears of the teams that didn't trade for him. He found Cole's UCL. Ooh. Hicks tee shot that he hooked into the pond. Incredible.
Guys, that makes me feel sad for Patricia. That's kind of a bummer. Sorry, Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia, come on. We'll help you out. Let's find someone.
Maybe people can find love here on Foul Territory.
Yeah, I'm down for that. We could do a matchmaker show.
Patricia
game
89,
at the ballpark at spring training.
Patricia 89 needs to get her love life out of my mucky water of my career.
Yeah, you're overshadowing Kratz. Well, Brian, it was a great tweet. Thank you for swinging by. Obviously, we have a lot of panicked Yankee fans that I think actually might feel a little bit better now, especially on Judge.
Do they? Okay, good.
On Judge. On Cole, I'm concerned.
On Cole, they're still ready to jump off the George Washington Bridge. Got it. Okay.
Yes. deep breaths. We haven't even started the season yet, but yes, they need some more depth. Brian,
Right.
Thank you for the time. We appreciate you, and
And
I'll
hey,
plug
be
everything
sure
we
to
got.
tune in for the Michael K show coming up wherever you get your radio.
Exactly. Wherever you get your radio, it's a great plug behind you. But here, I'll give Brian plug and thank you. You can follow Brian at Bryan Hoch. Last name is spelled Hoch. Absolutely crushes covering the Yanks for a while, and we're not kidding. 62, the book, is available wherever you get your books. It's really good, so make sure you check that out as well. It's about Aaron Judge.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.